right, what is going on? How y'all doing out there? This is Steve here in the Atlanta Bird Gang live and also on Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube live right now. If y'all get a chance to, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, y'all. I will definitely be coming at y'all a little bit more this summer. Got a few things in store, trying to get some things up for you. But how y'all doing today? It's Sunday. It's May 23rd, right? May 23rd. And it's hot outside. Man. And don't get me wrong, it's not like it hasn't been warm before. But all of a sudden, that little touch, that little bitty touch of hotness has finally hit Hotlanta. And from what I noticed, it looked like it's going to be warm all the way through the week. So this is good. This is summertime. So what you know what's coming in the summertime? Training camps are about a month or so away. And obviously this fan base is just obsessed, as you can understand, with the news of my buddy whose jersey I'm wearing today, number 11, Julio. We can't ignore it. We can't sit back and act like it's not going on. However, as I always do, I open the floor for all kinds of talk. We could talk a little bit about that. But what I wanted to talk about the most was because it's been so polarizing towards just the Julio saga and the Matt Ryan like or dislike. I'm trying to point out, with the drafting of Kyle Pitts, he's going to be somebody who's going to be instrumental in winning as far as the Falcons is concerned next year. Who is the most important Atlanta Falcon in 2021? Not named Matt Ryan or Julio Jones. Please let me know what you think. Put your comments down. Thank y'all for joining me. Hey, Trey, what's going on? What's going on, Chadwick? Good to see y'all today. I also know other things are going on. I see the LA Lakers looking like they're a little struggling against the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns trying to prove that number one position is not a fluke, but they are up at the moment. So we'll keep you up to date with some of that going on too. And then also the historic Phil Mickelson looks like he might be trying to wrap some things up when you start talking about the PGA tournament. Like he has a nice little lead there. So we might be talking about history as the oldest man to win a major golf tournament. We'll talk about that on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Now let's get back to the football. This week has been interesting. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the Julio with the Dallas shirt on. I'm still not convinced. I don't know whether that's real, whether that's in the past, whether that was yesterday. It doesn't matter. But the one thing I understand, folks I've watched the post. I'm looking, obviously, daily. And it's amazing to me how frustrated people are that we're talking about this. I saw my comrade Tidy's post when he was pointing that out, trying to say, why are people reacting like this is not news? And well, let me make up the post. Here's the post. I'm sick and tired of everybody talking about Julio. Let the GMs be the GMs. Everybody's a GM. Y'all stop being a DM. What? Y'all do realize this is a social media site, right? Everyone realizes that that's what this is, right? We're giving opinions and what we think, right? So for every post that I see that says, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it anymore," there's this thing called a mouse. And if you're on your PC, and then if you're on your iPad, it's even better. It's a thing called a finger. And what you do for both of them, you kind of roll past it, and you do that if you don't want to talk about it. There are so many people right now that are probably not paying attention to anything going on in Atlanta Bird game. Probably turned on all the notifications and all of that. But folks, let's not act like this is not big news. This is our probably truest Hall of Famer that we've had. And when I say that, I mean actually spent the majority of time in an Atlanta Falcon uniform, did most of his significant work as an Atlanta Falcon. This might be the first time we've ever said, hey, he's actually ours, and he's walking in. So of course it's going to be big news when you see another jersey. Of course it's going to be big news when you see different media outlets come out and say what they think about trading. If you're tired of that, you guys might want to do something else, because it's going to keep happening. So let's again, if you don't want to hear about it, or you don't want to listen to what I'm saying, hey, there are so many other options. You can have go tweet, go Twitch, go Instagram, go do whatever you want to do. But if you're so tired of it, I know, like, all of y'all think y'all GMs and y'all that, no, people have opinions. You have opinion, that's fine. It's an opinion to say, I don't want to talk about it. Some people want to talk about it. So in your opinion, maybe it's getting on your nerves. To other people, they want to talk about that stuff. So for all of the, I don't want to hear anything about Julio, turn your TV down, scroll to the next thing, and just keep going. Keep it moving. But I did want to talk about other things. Most important Atlanta Falcon in 2020, not named Matt or Julio, meaning Matt Jones, or Matt Ryan or Julio Jones. I have some thoughts, but I'm going to read some of these things that we go down. Chadwick says, cool. It's Young Way cool. Very important. Trey says, Steve, I'm tired of NBC making the Falcons look like we have trouble in camp. If Julio did not say it, then don't report it. Simple as that. It's going to fall in the same category, Trey. They don't have anything to write about right now. Until we have training camp, until we have OTAs, until we have preseason games, people are going to find stories to talk about. Writers and journalists have to get to the football season. Football season, when you start thinking about it, even college and pro, it's the shortest season probably for all of the sports. Shorter than basketball, shorter than baseball, shorter than hockey. So you have a small, compact size of real live action. The other 7 to 8 months is speculation on what's going to happen. That's what we're doing. It's speculation. There's no need to get feelings hurt when we start talking about those things. It's speculation right now. And you're going to have because you know what wants to happen? The one source wants to one up the other source. So NBC is going to write a story, and then tomorrow Sports Illustrated is going to come out something. Next thing, Bleacher Report is going to come out with something. Next week, The Athletic is going to come out with something. And that's fine, because it doesn't matter. All of it is opinion anyway until we get something official. And when we get something official, we'll gladly break in and talk about it. But we need to stop getting our feelings hurt over, stuff like that. We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it. Chat, he hasn't done laundry and grabbed a clean shirt. Dwayne, what's up, Steve? What's up, Dwayne? How you doing? I think the run game and defense improvement is important to the Falcons' success. I'm telling you now, the player that I was going to name is going to be Mike Davis. And I'm not even sure if Mike Davis is going to be this day one starter. I think by all signs, it looks like he's going to be the day one starter. Mike Davis is going to be key for this team. And I'll tell you why. With the addition of Kyle Pitts, obviously that was meant to open things up inside and hopefully give you another target in the red zone. If Matt Ryan does not have a run game to support him, it's going to be a very short season. The offensive line, I know they're working on that very hard. I know we're going into some different sets this year, offensive sets, 2 tight ends. All of that is a moot point if we can't run the ball. We were one of the worst running teams in the NFL last year, even with the Todd Gurley signing. We know Todd was injury prone a little bit, so nothing we can do about that. Mike Davis becomes an essential part of this team in 2021. Mike Davis slashed the running game. If we don't have a running game, you're going to have the same results from Matt Ryan back there running for his life and probably throwing ill-advised passes at times if we don't get a solid running game. The one thing we know Matt Ryan is good at is the play-action pass. Play-action pass doesn't work if you don't have a running game. Mike Davis, to me, is the most important person on the field. If there's somebody else down with Younghoe Koo, absolutely, he's important. And until that Kansas City miss, he'd probably been pretty money for most of the season. So Younghoe, I give him a lot of credit. That is probably a player that I think is going to be important. Trey, they showed last year. I'm trying to catch that right quick. They showed last year when Julio wanted to get more money. They saying the same picture. Okay, well, and I get it then. And you know, when bad things happen and when people start spreading rumors, yeah, you're gonna get pictures like that. So I get it. People trying to stir up controversy. Again, it's the off season, y'all. People want to get folks talking, get it started. It's no need to take it personally. I see some of these groups, some of these Falcon groups I'm in. I mean, these folks are taking it to heart that you're talking about Julio Jones. Oh no, don't talk about him. Well, if it's not for real, don't talk about it at all. I don't want to hear it. Come on, y'all. That's what this is for. This is barbershop talk. This is water cooler talk. It's not for you to sit home and take it seriously and whatever. And for all these folks who are telling y'all want to be GMs, y'all know more than to play. You know what? Some of us might. What's your 2 cents? Because the fallback answer is everybody else want to be a GM. Well, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about this. Instead of sitting back and criticizing those who are brave enough to at least have a voice. I think that's more cowardly than giving an opinion. If you give an opinion that 100 out of 100 people, 99 disagree with you and you stand your ground, I have no problem with it. But if you sit back and you're going to criticize somebody else for what their opinion is, man, that's kind of weak. I mean, let me make sure. Let me go back a step. You're going to criticize people that want to give opinion. I think that's ridiculous. Come up with something on your own. Let's see what you got. Isaiah, what's going on, brother? Said Mike Davis and AJ Terrell. AJ Terrell, who I'm never going to stop apologizing for last year because I was one of the main ones, draft night 2020, that was definitely had my doubts about him being a number 1 defensive back. And while he hasn't arrived yet, let's make that clear. Because if he arrived, he would have caught that interception against Kansas City. But he hasn't arrived 100%. But I do like what I saw from a rookie standpoint. If he takes a big step at that cornerback position, that is awesome. Because then we can, try to get one side of the ball at least solidified when you're talking about your coverage. And AJ made big strides. Yeah, Mike Davis, I agree with you. I think Mike Davis is very important when you start looking at it. So we need to average 150 yards per game. You know what, Isaiah? Listen, we need to. I'll settle for 125. I'll settle for 120. If you really think about it, if you can give me between 120, 125 and your 150, if you give me that, you'll probably have a better chance of success in the NFL because it's all about balance. As everybody keeps going back to the Kyle Shanahan days and say how great he is and what he did for this offense. One of the things he did, and he's doing it in San Francisco too, is balance. If you can keep the defense off balance with run game here, oops, let me throw a little pass in here. Oh, let me throw one more pass in there to throw you off. Just when we get in the shotgun, here's one little inside handoff. Just the threat of the run opens up so much. That's what made that 2016 year so great here. You have to open up that run game. You got to. So that's a good call when you start talking about the run game. Isaiah also said the run game will set up the play action where Matt shines. I agree. Isaiah also said it's clearly a slow football news week because the only news in sports media is talking about, and I'm so bored with it. Yeah, and I understand that. But remember, this is the dead part of the season, y'all. Dead part of the season. You got to understand that. Orion, what's up? So when you share your opinion, that means to me that you are concerned. I say this all the time, and I'm going to put him on blast because I give him a hard time every time online. And I know he probably sneak watches this as well. But Eddie Thompson is somebody that I love interacting with because whether you think Eddie is on Mars with a lot of his opinions, he sticks to his guns and he sticks to his convictions. And I've always told him, as much as I pound him and dog him out for some of his opinions, some actually might be right. I'll never admit that to him. But at least he sticks to his guns and he has an opinion. To me, that's more valuable than criticizing people for having an opinion. I don't get that part. You're on a social media platform and you think the rest of the world is just going to shut up. And what's going to be on Facebook if you just post something and nobody responds? I mean, think about that. I mean, if you post something up there, and for the most part, when you post things up, you're expecting some response. Some people get so bent out of shape. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. It's for what? Why are we so scared? There is a good chance Julio might not be here. So people are talking about it. And you have to. Because that's Falcon news. And this is a Falcon group, one of the largest Falcon groups around. We're going to talk about it. I'm sorry. If you don't want to, go to a lame Falcon group where everything is kumbaya and Matt Ryan can do no wrong. Julio will never, ever leave. Every single Falcon gets signed as a Falcon for life. I look at some of these things. I looked at some sites, and I'm not going to say a lot of names because I'm part of some of those groups. You look at some of those groups, and I saw one where somebody had the nerve to say, well, we just drafted Frank Darby, so we can afford to get rid of Julio because Frank Darby's going to take his place. And they were serious. And you see all the replies coming back. That's right. Rise up. I don't know what the future is going to have for Frank Darby, but Frank Darby was not taken in the 6th round of the NFL draft to replace Julio Jones. Sorry about that, y'all. T. Jones, what's going on, brother? Say, I don't understand why people get so upset, agitated by the Julio talk. It's headline news in national media, not just local media. And this is a Falcon group. I mean, what do you expect Falcon fans to talk about? Similar to those who were upset, crying about us talking about drafting quarterbacks. When it was draft time, please understand that's why we are all here. Hello. Very perfectly put. And let me add on to that. When you were talking about the draft thing, I know I was probably in the minority. Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell where the majority was because there was a great consensus of people who wanted to stand pat and give Matt another chance. But there was a significant amount that was saying quarterback, bring it in. I almost want to say it might have been split down the middle. But boy, when they didn't draft a quarterback and got Kyle Pitts, all of those folks, they came head hunting for me. You want? I mean, then they loud. Now it's coming to the Julio thing. Now everybody's just like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it at all. And then not only the don't talk about it is, I'm sick and tired of y'all talking about it in a Falcons group. We're in a Falcons group. Y'all talking about Falcons. It's stupid, silly. What do y'all expect us to talk about? We want to talk about New Orleans Saints? Is that what y'all want to talk about? You're in a Falcons group. We're going to talk about Falcon things. Perfect example. I was mentioning the Frank Darby guy. Frank Darby, when he had this little nice, off-the-cuff, very excitable interview, and some of y'all were thinking he was going to be a Pro Bowler just by the way he was talking. That's what happens. That's what we are. We're supposed to talk about Falcons. And all the news may not be what you want to hear. And if not, again, this is called a mouse for PCs. You can scroll like that. This is called a finger. It's on your hand. Real easy to find. Scroll if you don't want to talk about it. And keep it moving. And that's fine if you don't want to talk about it. That's fine. Trey said, I'll be honest. If Julio want to walk, let him walk. Because Tannehill will not be the same under a new coach. And Cam Newton is one play away from being benched for a rookie. What did Cam do to wow you in 2020? Now, I know he and Cam worked out together in the past. That's not, that's common knowledge. They've worked out in the past together, in past off seasons. I can't speak for this season, but I definitely remember them saying that they worked out. Just to update y'all, Phoenix up 88-77 on the Lakers right now, a little bit less than 8 minutes left. So that's probably more of the connection. And I'm sure he has said at times, hey, it'd be kind of cool to ride with Cam. But that's I don't know. To me, I don't know. Maybe I could see as his friend. Might want to go play with his friend. He's near the end of his career. Maybe he wants to do some things where he has a decision. Maybe that's what the case is. I don't know. Christian says, even if we trade Jet, I believe we can still put together a squad enough for a playoff run to finish games strong. I absolutely believe that. Folks, have we forgotten the year that Calvin Ridley had that quick? Calvin Ridley was no joke this past year. And while I'm not trying to put Russell Gage in wide receiver one position, Russell Gage grew tremendously from 2019 to 2020. And with a bench that includes Zacchaeus and Blake and now Darby, you start looking at these pieces and saying to yourself, yeah, you might be able to get away with some things. Add in Kyle Pitts on the inside. Hayden Hurst isn't going anywhere this year. Yeah, we have an opportunity to do some things. Got to protect the quarterback. Got to run the ball. Yeah, I'm not that afraid. I'm not that afraid if he leaves. It would be sad from a fan base, just saying one of your greatest players leaving the franchise. Of course it would. But we can absolutely win without Julio. While not on the same level, when Roddy White was leaving, there were some of y'all lost your mind. We can't win without Roddy. It's just Julio. Why is Sanu here? It turned out to have one of the best offensive years of all time. David says Kyle Pitts as far as the most important Falcon in 2021, not named Matt or Julio. We have to improve in the red zone, and his size and catch radius should help us do that. Red zone, red zone, red zone. You hit it right on the head, David, because one of the things we struggled in was we were good between the 20s, but then when we got it tight, our field goal kicker, did he lead the league in field goals, or he was pretty close? And anytime you see where you got that many field goals, unless you're Kansas City, where you're going up and down the field just putting up 500 points a year, when you see the number of field goals almost exceeding your number of touchdowns, then that lets you know you probably didn't have a great year. We probably helped Younghoe Koo make the playoffs. Make the Pro Bowl because of the number of attempts he ended up having. I had another question too, and also with this, I want y'all to put this on your window as well. I was listening to Ludacris the other day, and they were playing him. I forgot the little old school station. Move, get out the way, get out the way. And I know a lot of y'all were back in the Georgia Dome back when TJ Duckett, anytime he would come in the game inside the 5-yard line, they would throw that song. And the whole crowd, move. Y'all know the word. Get out the way, get out the way. And it was such a hype song. So I think about hype songs. What are some of your getting ready for the game, sit down with the wings, getting yourself mentally into the game type things? What songs get you there as far as football is concerned? And if you want to say life, that's up to you. But as far as football songs, what song gets you there? What hype songs? I'm going to make y'all mad. I'm going to make y'all real mad. I think one of the best hype songs in the world. I love Halftime, man. Dude, I hate the Saints. I have no problem with saying that. But boy, when that halftime blows up and you hear that marching band sound come from behind, you get stupid hype for the game. And I like the fact that Atlanta Falcons, we closed the Georgia Dome when we beat the Saints. That was the last song they played when we closed the Georgia Dome, if you guys remember. They closed the Georgia Dome with Halftime. If y'all don't know what Halftime is, take a look at Yin Yang Twins, one of the best hype songs of all time. What other hype songs do y'all listen to as far as football concerned? Let me get back to some of these comments. T said, I agree with you just said about Eddie. Myself and Eddie debate all the time, but like you said, he sticks to his guns and he will bring stuff to support his opinion without getting personal with you all the time. I give him all the time. I give Eddie a hard time. I really do. But I like Eddie. And I've told Eddie that too. Eddie can't say I haven't told him that. I told him I like him a lot. He's not from this planet, but he has some pretty good opinions. Dwayne, people have to realize and get used to the fact that Julio Jones will not be a Falcon anymore. We can't compare Jones and Pitts. I think he and the Darby kid, is going to be pretty good. I like that everybody's hyped on Darby. That's cool. That's cool by me. And let's hope he does come in here and exceed the sixth round position that he was picked in, because he did some good things at Arizona State. I just want to slow down and remind people that, after draft excitement, boisterous things. And I'm not saying he's made any boisterous things like I'm the greatest and all that. He hadn't done that. He's just very excitable young man, which I love. And that's great. And I want to keep that passion because we need that going forward. I just don't want everybody to get the mistake that he's here to replace Julio. That's all. But he can be a great part of this organization. T says, I call some of those fans Disney Falcon fans. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I guess they will soon. They don't want to talk about it. It will go away. And I wish they would. Those are the folks that I just laugh at, and I just say, what do y'all want us to talk about? What do you want to talk? Y'all want to talk politics? I mean, come on, man. It's a Falcon group. Julio Jones is one of the most famous Falcons. Matt Ryan, for that matter, is the most successful franchise quarterback in history. What y'all think we not going to talk about him? He can't be criticized. He's Teflon. We can't talk about the possible trading of Julio Jones. That's blasphemous. We can't go down that road because that's not being loyal. Come on now, y'all got to get over yourself. You really do. Dre says, did Julio really say that Matt Ryan had a noodle arm? See, now, those type of things, you say you hear reports, the one report where they're saying Matt couldn't get the ball down to it. Again, those are reports. Now, I am a big person and I would like to hear facts. Hearsay is cool to a certain extent. Hearsay, somebody's trying to get you to listen to watch their tweet, listen to their opinion. I mean, like we do here. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's cool that you all would even value my opinion that much. Am I gonna say things totally outrageous just to get you to listen? Maybe not. But there are people in the media that just say things to stir things up. Think about the king of that. Stephen A. Smith has basically built his whole career on saying things that stir the pot, saying things that maybe we talk about amongst ourselves at work or amongst the group of friends, but he brings that stuff national and talks about people, isn't afraid to be critical of guys. Except Kwame Brown. He might not want that smoke anymore. But that's what you do. You're trying to entice people to watch you and give him full credit from where he was 10 plus years ago. Now he's the highest paid personality right now on ESPN. He just signed the contract about, a year or two ago. He is the highest paid personality on ESPN because he knows those buttons to push and he gets you to respond. That's what I'm talking about when you start talking about people who heard conversations, heard this, slip a little source here. That's to get your attention. Titus says, Zacchaeus shows a lot of promise also. Hopefully he gets more reps this season. And I think he was getting to that point right before he got hurt. He's obviously a deep threat. We know he can go out and get it. But I think had he had a little bit more time in the offense, I think he would have been very instrumental. That's why I'm not exactly crying if Julio happens to leave. I think the wide receiver core is in a good place. Would we be better with Julio? Of course we would. I'm not that dumb. But at the same time, I think we'll be in a better place than people think. I don't think we'll be as desolate as some folks would tend to think we would be. All right, we got Trey says Belichick is a snake in the grass. Hey man, listen, Belichick. I'm gonna tell you why this year is so important to Belichick. Belichick gambled on the fact that Tom Brady might not come back and be what he was. He made a calculated move. He made a strong move. If you think about it, think about what he did. He got rid of he let the most decorated player in NFL history as far as championships leave his franchise and gambled that he might not be that successful in Tampa Bay. And you see how that worked out for him. I think Belichick would do anything, which includes getting Julio Jones to come to his franchise. That's what I think. I'm trying to switch this over, y'all. Y'all might hear some noise here. Let me see if I can.
His franchise.
Yep.
And gambled that.
Hold on 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that. Trying to see this stuff a little bit bigger here because y'all know brother can't see real good. Christian says, look, I'm a loyal Falcon fans. It's cool having superstar players on the team like Julio, Matt, Ridley, and etc. But at the end of the day, I'm dedicated to the logo, not players. And the one thing about that, Christian, I think the average Falcon fan is like that too. Do we get attached sometimes if Julio happens to be an all-pro and he's getting everybody's attention and stuff like that? Of course. Of course you do. He's your player. But at the same time, to your point, Roddy White was the biggest thing I remembered. When Roddy White left, there were folks that were ready to jump ship because they felt like, Roddy was definitely not being loyal by not being loyal. The Falcons weren't being loyal by keeping Roddy White. And then one little station like free Roddy, all that crap. And we turned out to be better without Roddy. Not disrespecting Roddy's career. I'm saying, but just to show you that you can move on. So I don't take that. Titus says, I'll go out on a limb and say Matt Hennessy will be the most important Falcon, not named Matt. He has big shoes to fill and a very critical role to play at center. He must grow up and mature very fast this year. It's kind of interesting on that. I almost wonder with the Michigan guy at center, the other center that they drafted this year, maybe because Hennessy was not doing bad at the guard position. And sometimes with the guards and centers, especially the left guard, it seems like that's a position that they transfer back and forth. Hennessy might not be your center this year. Maybe they're hoping the other guy can beat him out. I think that's my thoughts. 1 minute, 30 seconds, folks. The LA Lakers, barring massive comeback, looks like they might. Yeah. Looks like the Lakers are going to drop game one, the defending champions, just to throw you a little sports break in there real quick. So 1 vote for Matt Hennessy being the most important Falcon. Most important Falcon, y'all, and pregame hype song. What's your pregame hype song for the game, whether it's getting ready, whether it's going to the game, whether you're driving to the game, whether you're in a tailgate? What song sets it off for you to get ready to listen to or watch the Atlanta Falcons? Trey said, crime mob, nuke if you buck. Okay. I know I got some gray hairs, but I know a little bit of this stuff. I got a little bit of y'all. Not a whole lot, but I know a little bit. All right, brother. Tidy says, Tupac ambition of the rider. I can't deny it. I will stay right. You don't want to. Yeah, okay. I deal with that. Bone crusher. Never scared. Never scared. Bone crusher. That's a big boy. Okay, so Bone and We Ready. Of course, We Ready is one of those that, that's a classic. We Ready. All right. No More Play and GA by Pastor Troy. I thought it was so disrespectful last year when the Eights beat us. It was dancing to that song in our building. Again, might be a little payback. I tell you, we disrespected the mess out of them when we played Yin Yang a couple of years ago when we closed out the Georgia Dome. So, hey. Christian says, T.I., what's up? What's happening? T.I., that's a good one, too. That's a good one, too. T.I., bring them out. Bring them out. Bring them out. Bring them out. I hear you, Dwayne. Christian, DMX gonna execute anything DMX come out with can be hype. Rough Riders anthem, just anything he came up with could get you pretty hype, man. Baston says, I'm going to see what this defense is going to look like under Dean Pease. Well, that's going to be an important part of it. I think when you start looking at the game is final, folks, the LA Lakers are down a game to the Phoenix Suns in the first round of playoffs, down 1 game. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Dean Pease do. One of the things I like about the Atlanta Falcons that they were very youthful. It's not a lot of veterans on that team aside of returning Dion and Luacan, uh, Grady, and maybe a couple of folks. I think it's important, especially with a new coach, when you have younger guys listening to you, when you have a veteran laden group, it's probably hard to get the message across because they haven't, most of them have been in the NFL a long time and they're used to doing things their way. Well, you have two advantages in this Atlanta situation. One, we haven't been winning. And two, you have a young group. So this is their first time hitting the NFL. Kind of similar to another thing y'all don't want to hear me say, which is why I think Dan Quinn is going to turn that defense around in Dallas. Not saying they're going to be the monsters of the Midway. I'm not saying they're going to be the Baltimore Ravens. What I'm saying is you have all those rookies that they drafted on their team. That's going to be a lot of voices that the first DC they hit is Dan Quinn. And whether Dan Quinn is the greatest or not, he might be able to do some things with those young guys that he wasn't able to do here in Atlanta. I think he's head coaching may not have been his forte. It might have been just being a defensive coordinator. Dre says, I say this, if Roddy still had something left in the tank, other teams would have looked at him. I said that all along. The only sniff he got was, ironically, San Francisco. San Francisco brought him in. I'll never forget that because I remember the story. San Francisco brought him in for a workout. He didn't even get a contract offer or nothing. And that's one of the things about Atlanta players that is always interesting, especially the players we draft. Roddy might be a difference because Roddy truly was a great player and probably had just hit the end of the road. But how many players truly go on to better careers? And I think I talked about this one time before. Go on to better careers once they leave Atlanta, aside of Dion. Really not a whole lot. Trey says, Teddy Pendergrass, turn off the lights. Now, Trey, Dre, how can I say this? I'm going to wonder when you say turn off the lights from Teddy Pendergrass, and that gets you hyped during a football game. I'm going to be wondering what other activities are you partaking in before you go to the football game. Because if you talk about the same, turn off the lights and light a candle, I'm a little concerned about what you listening to prior to the game. And I'm just messing with you, so don't mess with you. I'm just playing with you, brother. So don't hit me. Armand says, turn it down for what? Look, I will tell you, speaking of Lil Jon, when Get Low was at its peak, and my wife and I, and it was during the Mike Vick, Aaron Brooks, his cousin, down in Tampa Bay. And we got tickets. And of course, Atlanta filled up a lot of the stadium back then. But we were up in, if y'all been to New Orleans, they have like a 600 section. The Atlanta has like 100, 200, 300. Like they have a 600 section that I swear when you're up there, if any of y'all been to the Superdome before and y'all ever been up in that section, you're almost, when you're sitting, it's almost like you're leaning down like that. And I remember we had the whole side singing to the windows, to the wall. It was just real cool. I just never forget that. That was kind of cool. Greg says, MC Hammer time. I love me some Hammer, man. Hammer's a good hype song. Hammer's a good exercise song when you think about it too. That's some good stuff. I can deal with that. Since Steve for president, Trey said, rise up for Steve. I wish, man. Hey, I'll take the salary. I don't know if I'll lead y'all well, but I'll take the salary. Brother Ricky, what is going on, man? How you doing today? Good to see you in the house, man. We are talking about the most important Atlanta Falcon in 2021, not named Matt or Julio, or let me know your pregame hype song. I see some really good ones down here that are pretty solid. I like all those a lot. When we start talking about songs that kind of get you a little on the high. You know the song that used to get me, and y'all gotta help me. I'm trying to remember the name. I get knocked down, but I get up again. They're never gonna get me down. I get knocked down, but I what? Chumbawonga or something like that. Chumbawonga. But that's always I gotta get knocked down. That's a good little hype song. But going back to most important Falcons playing, nobody's talked about him that much this offseason. But I think for Oluokun, this is a huge season for him and for us having him in the defense. If y'all remember, dude, he was by far, and I say by far because Grady gives us Grady every year. Yeah, Grady never gets talked about because Grady's getting pushed back by 2 or 3 people. But Foye, if he can duplicate, if he could just duplicate what he did last year, all of that'll mean so much to what the linebacker core needs. And hopefully, if we're going to run a 3-4, he's going to become key. I think he was the best. He arguably could have been your best player last year. I think Calvin Ridley may have sold that up a little bit more. But arguably, I think he could have been in the running for your best player last year. But he's pretty important too. Dre says, Steve, I'm going to say the most important Falcon is the coaching staff. If they lose the team early, we do. Dre, we have got to get off to a good start. And the one thing I know, it almost made me wonder, did they press too hard last year under Dan Quinn? Look, they knew the pressure already. Dan Quinn was given a lifeline, him and Thomas Dimitroff, at the end of 2019. And they kept saying, they kept preaching, we got to start the season off good. And when you go 0-5, I mean, you know, the writing was on the wall that you had to go. So that's a good call. The coaching staff has to avoid having a bad start. Ricky says Calvin Ridley and Dean Pease hype song. Mama said knock you out. Big Trey. Not Trey, LL Cool J. I don't know why I'm mixing up my people. Mama said knock you out. What was that, 1990? I know I was in the military then. Mama said knock you out. Mama said knock you out. Look. Woo. Those are some good exercise songs or aerobicide songs. Those are some awesome ones. Yeah, but Calvin Ridley, man, if Calvin Ridley can repeat last year, and if by chance Julio happens to go another route, Calvin becomes even that much more important because look, the offense is going to basically be run through him and probably Kyle Pitts. And I think he can do it. I think he can, step up to the plate. The second team All-Pro is no slouch. He's going to have a lot to work with when his next contract comes up. You think about that. It's pretty good. Titus says T.I. motivation. That's actually not a bad call too. T.I. got a couple of them. I don't know, whatever you like is I don't know. That's a little bit more. That's probably more tailgate song to me. But Oh yeah, welcome to Atlanta by JD. I love that. Now, Toddy you have to remember, did they did that live? Did they do that live during the Seattle game or the Green Bay game? When because him and Luda did the halftime, and I'm trying to think, was that the championship game or was that the Seattle game that they came out there and did it live? But yeah, welcome to Atlanta. That's another one that gets you there. And especially they did if you haven't seen, they did a Falcons version of that song too. But I can't remember which one. Okay, I see Dre says Green Bay. Yeah. Yeah. Greg says, why does safety stay so far off the ball? Greg, they won't stay that far off the ball this year. I guarantee you that. I don't think DPs is gonna allow that. Orion says, who run it? And okay, Dre says Green Bay, and Toddy says, yeah, it was one of those games. I'm gonna have to go back and probably look. I want to say, because I thought it was Seattle too, and the reason why it made sense, and I'm not saying you're wrong, Dre, because you might be right. The only reason I was thinking was there was more of a thought that the Seattle game was going to be the last game in the Dome. And I was wondering whether they did that. But you might be right. You might be right about that. But I do remember both of them coming out there, and somebody else came out there with them too. What, 2 Chainz out there on stage? It was like, I know it was JD and Luda without a doubt. I almost think 2 Chainz was up there doing something too. But it was one of the 2 playoff games that came in. But JD, that's yeah. Welcome to Atlanta is real hype, super hype. One of the reasons I came on a little bit early today, y'all, because I definitely wanted to get out of here so I could watch the Falcon game. So I could watch the Hawks game with my son. I'm going to try to see if these Hawks can knock off the Knicks today. I hope they can, because the Julius Randle story is good, but New York teams get way too much credit when you start thinking about it. And they act like just because they're back in the playoffs, they act like they're just automatically, just by default, is supposed to be handed the first round. So I hope Atlanta comes and bring their A game. I'm getting ready to check that out, but I just want to pop in and talk to y'all and keep putting your hype songs down there if y'all get a chance to, so I can get some other stuff to listen to. Until then, y'all take care. Have a great weekend. Might not. No, I'll be here Memorial Day weekend, so I'll be able to talk to you on Sunday. All right, y'all take care. We'll see y'all. We have any breaking news on anything Julio, we'll definitely break in. Myself or one of the other guys who normally come in. Y'all take care. Be good. Peace.